Hi Eric, this is Ryan. I just wanted to address your last question about UV light mapping, and I want to do that real quick with this example. So, a few things. Let's talk about where to generate the secondary UV maps in Unity. First off, it's important to know that native geometry created in Unity does not come with a UV light map generation feature. It has light maps, it can be baked. I don't know what those UVs look like. I'm assuming they're optimized because it's simple primitives, but you don't have an option of turning these on or off in terms of the secondary UV channel. They just automatically come with that secondary UV channel for light mapping. Now, in the case of this character, if you're importing a character, whether it be from some third-party software, the asset store, or whatever, again, that's kind of unless it says specifically in the product you purchased or wherever you got it from, who's to say whether or not this has a secondary UV channel? This is a model I created. It does not have a secondary UV channel. So let me show you how you can generate that in Maya for imported geometry. So if you select your character in the actual scene view, you're not going to get an option for light mapping. You get your inspector tab, you get your lighting tab, but selecting your actual prefab is not what you want. So you want to come to your project and come to where your prefab resides here outside of the project, outside of the scene, but within the project. Excuse me. Go ahead and click on that, and you'll get some new options under your inspector. You'll have a model, rig, and animations. Under the model tab, if you come down to here, you'll see an option that says generate light map UVs. If your character doesn't already have a secondary UV channel, or you need to override the existing one, you can turn this on and then push apply, and that will generate a secondary UV channel for your object that will be used specifically for light map information. So it's just like the UV channel you create when you generate the character and you lay out the UVs for painting and texture work. A secondary one is created, and it's usually organized differently from your primary texture UV channel, and that captures all the lighting information and then overlays it on top of your color information. So you can create that automatically here in Unity, but you can also do that in a third-party package like Maya or 3D Studio Max, Blender. Those are the main three that you can use to pretty easily generate that second UV channel. So in your case, light mapping, regardless of how it's done, is going to take a while. That's why you kind of want to turn it on and leave it running in your scene while you're building your scene. That way Unity can go through the calculations in real time as you're building your game, versus just doing it at the end. Yeah, so that's part of the reason. It's not a fast process regardless of how you look at it, unless you're doing, super simple geometry like something like this. And like I said, if you're getting your assets from some other source, then it's hard to say how optimized the UVs are. It's kind of hit and miss. So, I don't really know how to help you in that regard. But if you have the option of optimizing them yourself and taking them into a third party like Maya, Blender, or 3ds Max, then you'll probably be able to lay those out in a way that they'll be more optimized, and that'll allow you for quicker bake times, that kind of thing. Okay, I hope this helped answer your question. I know the thread we've been chatting on has kind of been running days, it's been like 8 days since you last responded to me. And I apologize for the slowness of my response. I do work full-time at another job. I've got kids and stuff to take care of. But I do want to be as helpful as possible. So hopefully this was helpful in explaining this to some degree. I have included the link I have included the link to that other tutorial on light mapping in Maya. So hopefully it'll go through this time so you can check it out. I think it might be a 1 or 2 or even a 4-parter thing on light map baking. Hopefully that sheds a little more light on your situation. But like I said, light mapping, it's nice because Unity 5 does light map baking in the background now, rather than as a process that locks out your software. You can continue to work while the baking continues in the background, which is really nice. But all in all, baking is just a time-intensive process. So there are ways to optimize it, which I talk about in the course to some degree, but it's just something that kind of needs to happen as it happens, depending on your hardware configuration based on the complexity of your game, all that stuff. Lots of factors. So hopefully this helps, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out and I will do my best to answer them.